fucking minus cat.
Shout out to Drugstore Films and most importantly, Mars Films. Shout out to y'all for tapping in. This video is Chief Keef's Enforcer, the big glow story. Now, I'm glad that somebody's mentioning Blood Money again. I haven't heard too much about him or any stories really on him ever since the whole thing happened. Allegedly, KI is the person who took him out, but I don't know if that's true or not because they're the same person that said King Von took KI out. And then people saying that's not true, that it was Big A or whoever y'all said it was. But we ain't gonna talk too much. Without further ado, we're gonna get straight into the video.
Like and subscribe to this channel for more content. Thank you.
DBE Blood Money, also known as Big Glow, was an older drill rapper from the south
Front
side of
Street.
Chicago. He's rap star Chief Keef's older cousin. In 2013, Blood Money was introduced to the drill world when he released drill classic What I Do. Blood Money had plans to take over the rap game. Not only was he a drill rapper, Blood Money was a true MC. Too bad the world didn't get to witness his lyrical side. Before his death, he signed a 6-album deal with Interscope Records. He was on his way to the
And
top.
he was taken out.
Unfortunately, he was shot and killed on April 9, 2014. For years, drill fans believed that KI from STLEBT was Blood
Yup.
Money's killer. And many also believed that the Gangster Disciple gang mob was behind the hit. In 2022, former O Block affiliate J Hood started a lot of chaos when he claimed that Blood Money was really killed by O Block members King Von and T-Roy.
Yo, he said that it was T-Roy and King Von because of Chief Keef not wanting to give up money or something like that. I don't know how true that is. Take that with a grain of salt because I don't know how true that is. Only he knows because he's actually from O Block, so that's something he personally knows.
This is one of the darkest stories in drill history. Both King Von and T-Roy were good friends with Chief Keef. Days after Blood Money was killed, King Von even posted RIP Blood Money on his social media. Was that just to throw everyone off? Or was King Von really being serious? In this documentary, we're breaking everything down. At the end, you be the judge. This is the Blood Money story. Mario Hess was born on February 13, 1983, in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up on the 5600 block of Elizabeth Street on No Love City territory. His father, which is Chief Keef's mother first cousin, was a leader of a Black P Stone gang and was allegedly a stone-cold killer before turning his life around. Mario's older cousin Keith Carter, also known as Big Keef, was well known in the city. Him and his brothers were allegedly big-time drug dealers who grew up in the Calumet building. The family were filled with killers and
That's the
hustlers.
buildings you always hear about. So shout out to Chicago, Calumet or the Cabrini Green Projects.
People in the neighborhood began calling Mario Rio. Although his father was a Black P Stone, Rio decided to be a maniac gangster disciple. By the time he was 10 years old, he was dealing drugs. In 1996, the police found over 90 bags of crack cocaine on Rio.
Damn.
He was only 12 years old at the time. He was sentenced to 120 days in jail. Those 120 days turned into almost 4 years due to Rio catching cases inside. Rio began making a name for himself in the early 2000s. He allegedly caught his first body shortly after he was released from jail. Dealing drugs was all he knew at the time. Although he began rapping at the age 11 inspired by Tupac Shakur, rapping was only a hobby for Rio. He was too busy running the streets getting into trouble. Rio was known to be trigger happy. After making a name for himself in the streets, Rio began violating his gang rules, causing the older members to beat him down badly. For 2 months straight, Rio sat in the hospital due to the injuries. From the year 2000 to 2011, Rio was arrested over 30 times on mostly drug-related charges. He served
A
time.
lot of people is lucky that the gang culture is not like how it was back then. Cause I heard it was a treatment called the pumpkin head, where your face would be all knotted up and swollen and all that. Nah, that's crazy.
Prison 7 different
I
times.
will put the picture in there, but I think that's a little bit too graphic for YouTube.
Not only was Rio a drug dealer, he was a well-known stick-up kid as well. A lot of his family members were gangster disciples. But his older cousin Big Keef, which is Chief Keef mother's older brother, was a black disciple. Big Keef was a top member of Front Street. Fredo Santana and Chief Keef both followed in Big Keef footsteps and became black disciples. At an early age, Fredo Santana put in a lot of work for Front Street and even allegedly caught a few bodies. Chief Keef moved to Parkway Gardens in the mid-2000s
How you know that?
before O Block was formed. He would eventually become good friends with people such as J Money, King Von and T-Roy. Rio began claiming Front Street but remained maniac gangster disciple. His younger cousin Tato began claiming the set as well. Front Street is known for being one of the realest black disciple sets. They've been around since the early 2000s. Their main ops at the time were Jero City and Mob. Rio and his family were very close. He often hung out with Big Keef. Rio began making a lot of money in the drug game. He was known to flash money and talk trash. Some say that he was stingy with his money. When Chief Keef was a kid, he used to always ask Blood Money for dollars. Blood Money was too tight to help out his little cousin. In 2009, he got the words Blood Money tatted under his eyes.
I
The
remember
meaning
that.
of blood money is money obtained at the cost of another's life. Rio wanted everyone to know that he was a killer. He allegedly had 4 bodies and had 4 teardrops on his face to show the world. DJ Ken was born in Japan but moved to Chicago when he was only 20 years old. Big Keef was one of the first people DJ Ken met in Chicago. The two became good friends. Big Keef helped DJ Ken find an apartment on Front Street territory. Shortly after moving into his apartment, DJ Ken began investing in studio equipment and eventually built a home studio. DJ Ken's apartment became a hangout spot for some of the Front Street members. Rio never stopped rapping. He knew that he had the talent to make it big. Rio was one of the best rappers in the neighborhood. Him and his cousin Chilla began working with DJ Ken in 2008. A 13-year-old Chief Keef hung out at the studio a lot. He learned a lot from watching Rio. Even Big Keef would get drunk and rap at the studio. According to Chief Keef, Big Keef is one of the people who inspired his rapping style. When Big Keef rapped, after each line, he would say a. Chief Keef began recording music at DJ
The
Ken's
song
well.
I remember from Chief Keef and Blood Money was 30 was. That's the song I remember from them when they was on the dirt bikes and all that.
And released a mixtape Moolah Express in 2010. Rio's rap name was now Blood Money. He never gave up on his rap dreams. But like I said before, he stayed in and out of jail. The studio became a second home to Chief Keef. Him and DJ Ken would stay up for days making music. On January 23, 2011, Big Keef was found dead by family members. He allegedly froze to death. Big Keef was 38 years old. This made a 15-year-old Chief Keef go even harder in the studio. He began shooting music videos and having them uploaded to YouTube. By the end of 2011, Chief Keef was the biggest underground artist in Chicago. In the summer of 2012, he allegedly signed a $6 million record deal with Interscope Records. This was a new beginning for the family. Around this time, the O Block and Tookaville war was escalating. More bodies began dropping in the Woodlawn neighborhood. Chief Keef's music played a huge part. He hated Tookaville because they were responsible for killing his friend O.D. Perry. Chief Keef even allegedly shot at Tookaville members. A 30-year-old Blood Money was ready to participate in the war as well. He had 5 kids but was living wild as if he didn't have anything to lose. Chief Keef was now a huge rap star. Both O Block and Front Street were happy to be a part of something big. Their blocks were now famous. Many looked at the 17-year-old rapper as a ticket out of the hood. Chief Keef was wise. He surrounded himself only with close friends and family members. In 2013, he moved into a mansion in Highland Park, Illinois.
I mean,
Wasn't many people.
some people say he wrong for that, but he probably know how his O Block guys really get down, like for money. So I don't think he wrong. And on top of that, as far as like giving back or whatever, a lot of people, um, words be before they make it is, oh, I'm gonna take the whole hood, this, that, and the third, and all that. And everybody believe that, but once you get to that point, you see that you can't do that. You see that you can't just, take the whole hood because you got your family problems you got to deal with. You got stuff that you got to pay for to keep in check. So it's like they not understanding that and just thinking you want to be stingy when like obtaining that money is not what you thought it was going to be.
People invited over. Blood Money really acted as Chief Keef's enforcer. He protected all of his cousins. Blood Money was a family man. Chief Keef started his own record label Glory Boys Entertainment with his uncle Alonzo. People such as Tay Doe, Bullout, Frito Santana and Capo were signed to the label. Sosa didn't want to sign Blood Money in the beginning due to his age and rapping style. He didn't think that Blood Money would fit in with GBE. In May of 2013, Blood Money and Frito Santana released Take Risk. The video got a bunch of views on YouTube but wasn't big in the drill world. Take Risk was a trap song. Many don't know that Frito Santana was more of a trap rapper at the time. Dissing the ops wasn't his thing.
Yeah, you could tell.
Blood Money became a loved member of Front Street. Many of the younger members looked at him as an OG. He had allegedly put in a lot of work for the set and was highly respected throughout the city. Many say that he was even feared. His rugged evil looks matched his reputation in the streets. According to insiders, Blood Money shot a lot of people over the years. Even before claiming Front Street, he was known to be a shooter. According to Blood Money, he always loved guns and even wanted to be an FBI agent when he was younger. In July of 2013, Blood Money released What I Do. The video quickly reached 100,000 views on YouTube and caught drill fans' attention. But the track still wasn't good enough for Sosa. He still didn't want to sign Blood Money to GBE. That didn't stop
I didn't
Blood
even
Money
know all
from
this.
working. In September of that year, Blood Money recorded his verse on the track Thought He Was. His verse had everyone at the studio bouncing around and dancing. People couldn't wait for Chief Keef to hear it. The next day, Sosa come to the studio and asked Blood Money to hear the track. Chief Keef was impressed. He kept replaying Blood Money's verse and jamming to it. Sosa decided to hop on the track. This is when Blood Money became an official GBE artist. Blood Money was now signed to GBE. He'd go on tour with Chief Keef and have the time of his life. In December of that year, Blood Money allegedly shot at Shy Glizzy after a show in Washington, D.C. While Chief Keef and GBE were out on the road making money and enjoying life, more bodies were dropping back home in Chicago. Chief Keef was no longer participating in the war, meaning he was no longer providing weapons for O Block or bonding members out of jail. Around this time, he began feuding with fellow 300 member Lil Durk.
When it came to Chief Keef, I thought 300 was him. But I guess that's Dirk shit. I didn't even know.
Keef don't put no bangers on the block, none of that. He be on the Instagram flex with.
Many O Block members began feeling left out. They didn't get to drive the expensive vehicles and go on long vacations with the GBE crew. They were still stuck in the projects. Many didn't know that GBE was a Front Street thing, not a O Block thing. O Block members such as Boss Top was a rapper as well, but was never signed to GBE. Some say that the only reason Sosa had people like Boss Top around was because of T-Roy. Although T-Roy, King Von, Trey 5 and J Money were O Block's top shooters at the time, people such as Boss Top, BJ, E-Dog and C-Murder were some of O Block's top dogs. In September of 2013, Chief Keef didn't show up to J Money's funeral. Some say that he didn't even offer to help pay for it. O Block was getting fed up. One night while on tour with Chief Keef, Blood Money embarrassed Chief Keef.
Y'all think they was doing too much, like feeling entitled, or y'all think they was right for how they felt? Y'all let me know in the comment section down below.
A group of females. According to Blood Money, he was drunk feeling cocky that night. Chief Keef flips out on Blood Money and hurt his feelings. Blood Money was heartbroken. He left the hotel and got on the next plane back to Chicago. He never meant to disrespect his little cousin. Days later, Chief Keef came back to Chicago to get Blood Money and even gave him money, clothes and a vehicle. Chief Keef and Fredo Santana began bumping heads. Fredo decided to leave GBE and start his own label, Savage Squad Records. A few other GBE artists followed Fredo. SD, who was Chief Keef's close friend, decided to start his own label as well. People such as Blood Money, Tay Do, Bolout and Capo all stayed loyal to Sosa and signed to his new label Glow Gang Records. Sosa and Interscope had worked out a label deal. Blood Money was now known as Big Glow. Sosa wanted him to be the first artist on Glow Gang to release an album. Interscope gave Blood Money 36 hours of studio time to record the album. In February of 2014, Blood Money began recording his debut album titled Cutthroat the Documentary. In 1 month, Blood Money completed the album after recording 27 songs.
Damn.
Interscope was impressed with Blood Money's work ethic and decided to sign him to a 6-album deal. They paid him $50,000 in advance. Back in Chicago, Chief Keef was going at it with his childhood friends. O Block member Trey 5 was allegedly incarcerated and needed help with his bond. He needed to come up with $25,000. Other O Block members were only able to come up with $18,000 of the money. So they reached out to Chief Keef. Chief Keef refused to give up $7 grand to bail Trey 5 out of jail, so Bostop allegedly took his chain. Chief Keef's older cousin Fredo Santana didn't get involved in the beef like many thought he would. This was a surprise to drill fans. Many say that Fredo Santana was a very loyal Black Disciple member. He grew up in the Calumet building and he's an original Front Street member. Fredo always been close to O Block members. He was even good friends with O.D. Perry. Back in 2010, O.D. Perry and Wick City allegedly sided with Front Street when they were at it with 600. It's obvious that Sosa was in the wrong about something. Even Lil Reese kept his distance from GBE for a while.
He ain't want to get in the middle of it.
In the beginning of Sosa's career, he helped out many O Block members. Some say that he practically spoiled the gang. He allegedly shared his jewelry, clothes and vehicles with certain members. It was hard going back to the projects after spending days at Chief Keef's mansion. Many believe that jealousy played a huge part in Chief Keef and O Block beef.
Probably.
In November of 2013, Chief Keef was ordered to serve 90 days in a California drug rehab. While he was in rehab, O Block members allegedly broke into his house and stole a lot of his belongings.
I remember that. I heard about that too. Oh shit, every day was still, I was at course.
Blood Money returned home from Los Angeles in the middle of March. He began flashing a lot of money on social media. Blood Money had now made it. Since the age 11 he had dreams of being a rap star. This was a new beginning for him and his family. According to Blood Money's manager, he spent most of his advance money in only weeks. After purchasing a Denali truck, jewelry, taking his kids shopping and paying his father's rent, the advance money was basically gone. Blood Money didn't like how members of 300 was treating his little cousin. While Fredo Santana did his best to prevent a war between Front Street and O Block, Blood Money didn't care. Like I said earlier, Blood Money really acted as Chief Keef's enforcer. When Sosa began feuding with the Atlanta rap group Migos, Blood Money was one of the only Glow Gang artists to attack the group on wax.
I forgot about that whole Chief Keef and Migos thing. I mean, Chief Keef playing to Chicago and moved to California.
On March 26, 2014, Chief Keef and his crew had allegedly got into it with Boss Top and other O Block members at his home. Someone ended up getting shot and transported to the hospital. According to O Block Ocho, a member of O Block was shot in that incident and almost died. Blood Money was the alleged shooter. The beef was now real.
That's new info to me. That's new info to me because I never knew that. All I know was they said one of the times, I don't know if they did it twice or whatever, they said Chief Keef's manager was home or something like that. I never knew somebody, I never know he did that.
Shot was none other than C Murder. C Murder is one of O Block's original members. He had just lost his younger brother Sherrod 2 years prior. Seeing C Murder in the hospital fighting for his life broke many O Block members' hearts. It's obvious that they wanted revenge.
Oh, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Wow, that it clicks now. It clicks now why they got problems. Definitely clicks.
That same month, Chief Keef and Blood Money released Drell Classic F Rehab. This was one of Blood
I remember
Money's
that.
biggest songs. The video hit over 100,000 views in only hours. In the song, Blood Money dissed the gang mob.
MOB.
Blood Money never stopped hanging out on Elizabeth Street. When he came back after signing his deal with Interscope, he helped out people in the neighborhood. Blood Money had huge plans. Not only was he planning to start his own record label, Blood Money was allegedly in the middle of helping start a program to try to stop the violence in Chicago with Michelle Obama.
Vlad TV.
On April 9, 2014, Blood Money and his cousin Darnell were hanging outside of the family's home on the 5600 block of Elizabeth Street, allegedly talking to some females. Darnell grew up on Elizabeth Street as well. Him and Blood Money were very close. When Blood Money wasn't with Sosa, Frito and other Front Street members, he was with his cousin Darnell. That night, the two were on the way to the studio to work on music. They were allegedly standing outside of Blood Money grandmother's house, in front of his truck. At around 9:45 p.m., two people walks up and open fire. Almost 30 shots were fired. Blood
Damn.
Money was shot 10 times in the chest, and Darnell was shot once in the abdomen. Blood Money was found laying on the sidewalk and was later pronounced dead at Stroger Hospital. He was 30 years old.
But he still gotta remember that whole scene though.
Many believe that KI from STLEBT claimed to be involved in the Blood Money hit. But that's not true. STL and Front Street wasn't into it with each other that heavy. King Lil J made it seem as if STL was behind the hit by posting a live video singing Sipping on Blood Money just one day after Blood Money was killed. At the time, Front Street members were accusing Mob. But Mob never claimed the body. Not only Sosa but Frito Santana and other family members wanted revenge. It's safe to assume that Blood Money killers were afraid. This was one of the murders in Chicago that didn't get bragged about.
Yeah, you could definitely tell that's something that wasn't really bragged about. Besides Lil J saying what he said, that's something that never really got bragged about.
On April 11, 2014, just 2 days after Blood Money was killed, KI was shot and killed by King Von. Many still believe that she was killed for taking credit for killing Blood Money. Well, that's not true neither. People in Chicago knew that O Block and the Glow Gang were into it at the time. The million-dollar question is, why would O Block members slide for Blood Money? Especially after he almost killed one of their top members.
Yeah.
D-Roy and King Von were both allegedly catching bodies back to back around this time. O Block is a small oil gang. The members are like family. No matter what, they stick together. If Blood Money really shot C Murder, many don't see T-Roy and King Von letting that slide. Some even say that they were paid to do the hit.
I remember that he said that I think in Thodi was.
Someone had to take the heat for killing Blood Money. With KI being killed just 2 days after Blood Money, many outsiders and even the police believed she was involved in Blood Money's murder. This was a high-profile case due to Blood Money being a signed rapper and Chief Keef's cousin. Not only did Blood Money killers had to worry about the cops, they had to worry about being killed as well. Although Sosa was no longer on good terms with many 300 members, he still had the money and the connections to get things done. At the time,
Yep.
Frito Santana was more loved and respected than King Von, Lil Durk, Boss Top and many other 300 members. He was something like a O.T. Perry. If O Block killed Blood Money, they wouldn't want Frito to find out.
Is that another reason why I wasn't bragged about?
Front Street and O Block are no longer allies. It's obvious that something happened. Even members of Front Street made it clear that Blood Money was backdoored. Chief Keef even ran into King Von a few times in 2019 and 2020. The two didn't take any pictures together. And after King Von was killed, Chief Keef didn't react on social media. To this day, Sosa haven't said rest in peace to King Von. This was once his childhood friend.
I mean, I don't know, man. This is something I definitely didn't know.
Blood Money left behind 5 kids. His death affected a lot of people. Many say that Blood Money was a good person. He loved cracking jokes and making people laugh. Members of Front Street started a set by the name of Blood Gang in honor of Blood Money. Well, this was the Blood Money story.
Damn.
Thank you all for watching.
Shout out to Drugstore Films. To be honest, I didn't even know Front Street and O Block had beef, or they made it public like, yeah, we don't rock with them. But let me know what y'all feel about J Hood from O Block saying what he said. I think that's like kind of adding a little bit more fuel to the fire with saying that, because that's Chief Keef's cousin. Even if it was considered old, he still lost his cousin and he's not gonna let that go. So that could be a reason why he didn't say rest in peace to King Von. He probably knows something that we don't. But y'all get in the comment section down below. Let me know what y'all think. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. Love is love, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.